You don't remember all the way back from the game when you had touched
what, Russell?
You touched my little. And I felt your little chest. You remember your little? You remember that? I remember that. That was the first time.
You trying to say I touched your penis on a bus?
Yes, you did. Say you didn't. Say you didn't. Right now, I want you to look into this camera right now and lie to these people. Say you didn't do that and act like you don't remember.
I don't remember.
You a lie. You will say you swear. Say you swear. Because we done talked about it too many times. Say you swear.
I don't know where this is going. Mama, I didn't do that.
Hey, she lying to all of y'all and her mama on Mother's Day.
I did not do that. That is a lie.
We was in the 8th grade. We was kissing on each other.
That wasn't me.
She kissed my neck. I was like, ooh.
What?
I had never had a girl kiss my neck before, y'all.
Russell, I've never kissed your neck.
Baby, are you serious? Stop lying. You gonna make these people think I'm capping. You don't remember that. Say you don't remember.
I was like, oh no, I was kissing your neck?
Where
was the supervision?
Hey, low key though, can we talk about this? Where was it? And my kids will never go on no long trip because I'm just now thinking like, where were the adults? Because that happened. Can you stop acting like I'm crazy? Do you not remember this?
I plead the fifth.
All I want is you, baby. All I want, all I want, all I want is you, baby. More than I need, what you want, girl, it's yours. Give me your feelings, I just can't ignore. 'Cause all I want is you, baby.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
Hey everybody, it's me, Brandi.
And welcome to another episode of the What They Never Told Us podcast. What's going on? Happy Mother's Day.
'Tis the day of mothers, the day where we just should be celebrated, relaxing, kicking our feet up, and no kids. To all the men who listen, how many ever of you there are, do that for your woman. Unless she specifically requests having the kids there, just take them away. Just take them away. Because then, if not, Mother's Day just becomes any other day.
A chore. I mean, if you got littles, you can't really escape.
Kids aren't a chore. I don't want to say that. I don't want to make it seem like that. They're their responsibility for sure. But they're not a chore. It's not a chore. We love them. We love the
Definitely love them.
Jesus loves
and
the
all the chores
children.
they create, like diaper changing.
Luckily, we don't have to deal with that. And if you get off your baby soapbox, we will be free and clear for the rest of our lives.
I just feel like you're being so strong on the no more babies that it allows me to just be free in my desire. Like,
yeah, no, it kind of adds a little pressure.
Really?
Yeah, yes.
You hide it well. Yeah, you hide it so well.
Well, I shut it down because number one is like absolutely not I think it's so easy for men to be like, oh, we should just have another baby. I don't think you guys realize what that means.
Let me ask you, because I feel very torn. Right, there's definitely one side of me that like would love to have another kid, like a part of me that would just love to see what our child looks like that
like
baby.
Fantasy, right?
Huh?
Like fantasy, not like actual baby. Like you fantasize about, what it was.
No,
like.
there is a part of me that would love to see the child that you and I create, the child that you and I raise from birth. Like, for whatever it's worth, all of our children I currently have had lived two different home of origins, vastly different from one another. Like the home that they experience now is different than the home that they experience. They also have two homes that they go to that they vacillate between. So they get two completely different experiences. Don't know what's happening at the other house. Pray all is well. Cover them in the blood every time they go.
And don't you like that break?
I love that break. All I'm saying is that there's a part of me that would love to see what you and I produce from the ground up, what they look like, what they smell like, what their personalities would be like, what, crazy. Like, there's not even part of you that's a little curious what that would look like.
No.
Because now there was a whole time you came home. You said, babe, like I had a moment where.
No, I was reading Genesis, right? And in the scripture where it says like be fruitful and multiply. But what I obviously what that is talking about is producing and filling the earth. But also, like, our relationship is fruitful and it is multiplying without us having a child that we both have. So, like, when I first read it and I was meditating on it, it did feel like, man, like, are we not doing that? There's no, like, physical product, human being of our relationship. But there are a lot of fruitful marriages where they don't have children, not even like from previous relationships, but they don't have children at all. And that doesn't mean that their relationship isn't fruitful. So like, as I was dealing with that with the Holy Spirit, like I felt like I clearly saw we can be fruitful and multiply without that multiplication. You
can multiply without multiplying?
You can multiply, like the things that we put out in the earth can go and last for generations.
So
and
what
it
you're
doesn't
saying
have
is
to
that
be
scripture
a
isn't
child.
necessarily talking about children.
I don't feel like it's only talking about children. So being fruitful, I think you be fruitful and multiply in multiple ways. So then I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, no, the conversation you had with me was very much so about children.
No, initially it did, but again, as I wrestled with the scripture
So
a little bit more, but it wasn't about. I wasn't saying that I have the desire to have another baby.
So I'll ask, there's never been a point where you were curious about what a kid would look like even remotely considered it?
I think that it's too loaded emotionally to answer with a yes or no.
Okay.
Of course, like anybody, I think if you get in a new relationship and obviously you're in love and you think about those things, but the thought of having another baby is super traumatic for me. So number one, I like when you talk about it, I immediately like, no, because I'm not even letting my brain go there.
You had like health complications?
Well, I mean, you know that I had 2 miscarriages, and like before my last baby, I had like between my middle child and my last baby, I had 2 miscarriages. And the whole time that I was pregnant with my daughter, I was just anxious and paranoid and scared that she was going to die. And I think mentally and physically, I think that if I were to have another baby, yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I'm older, so like after you turn, I think it's 35, your risk for miscarriage goes, up, and now I would be considered a geriatric pregnancy. So then that's
you
automatically.
Just don't like that word geriatric.
I don't like that word at all.
Like, if I get that,
then it's automatically high risk, and it's just. I think again, fantasy wise, yeah, I'd love to have another baby in fantasy land. In real life, like boots on the ground, tangible, being pregnant. Going through that, I don't think that mentally I want to do that again.
For sure. I can accept that, and I can live with that. Can you accept my desire in spite of?
I don't know how those two things work out together, but I mean,
it's just me expressing like, oh, I think that'd be cool. I hope, and I never heard that word pressure before today, so that does change like my sensitivity around bringing it up, because in my mind I just like am lighthearted and just like, every time I see a little baby girl, I'm like, oh my goodness, babe, yeah. Don't you wonder? Like, yeah. I didn't know it felt like pressure, because you always be like, yep, no. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, it's simply I just can't let my brain go there.
For sure, I get that.
It's probably a trauma response, but it's real.
I get that.
Yeah. So, anyways, I have to switch gears before I get all emotional. So we've been watching this show called Forever, and I've been secretly reminiscing as we watch this show, because if you guys don't know, the show is about 2 teenagers who are in the midst of falling in love, and like they're probably in their junior, I don't think they've even said specifically, but it feels like junior, senior year of high school, because they're planning for college. And I've been secretly reminiscing on little moments in my head about like back when we were in high school, and I wondered to myself, if we didn't have that period, do you think we would have ever ended? And I know you can't predict that, but just in your mind's eye, do you think that if we didn't have that period of whirlwind, first love, romance in high school, that we would have ended up here still?
It's really hard to tell. How we reconnected. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it would have happened organically.
Not that we didn't know each other. Like, we could have still known each other, but we just didn't have that same.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, the whole reason why I even felt, a big part of why I felt like comfortable or even like led to pursue you was based large part on our history. You know, I had history with you. I don't know if you were just some girl I went to school with, if like me seeing you on Facebook would be significant, or even would be like, oh, I'm gonna holler at her. Like, I just don't know.
Was I ever the girl who got away for you?
What does that mean? Girl that got away.
I saw these three guys talking on a podcast, and they were like, every dude has that one girl. So the question was, do men marry when they find the right one or at the right time? And so they talked about how typically a man early on will find the one, the right woman, but it's not the right time for him because he feels he has to be stable. He has to play the field a little bit, all these things that he has to do before he settles down. So she ends up being the one who got away.
I don't think I ever thought of you like that.
Really?
Just because we were always so different. Like in my mind, that there was, so for those of y'all that don't know, there was like this brief moment where we tried to rekindle in college. And
you were in college.
Yeah, after high school.
I was in mommy mode.
After high school. And that, because we were in such different spaces, I think that being my last experience kind of like cemented in my mind, like, this just isn't the type of person I can be with at the time.
You make it seem like I was like trifling or something. The type of person. What you mean?
We just were equally yoked.
The type of person.
I'm saying,
I was out here saying.
I just started preaching. I was like really trying to I'm just out preaching, and I'm like freshly new to college. No parental like, hey, be in the house this time. So at that age, avoiding sex and temptation was everything to me. And
I just screamed sex and temptation.
No, you were like the only, I can't say that. You didn't scream sex and temptation. You just weren't living like that. So for you, it just, there was no barrier to like, let's not do this. It was like, hey, what's up?
You feel like I was pressuring you?
Nah, not pressure. Not pressure. And it wasn't like I was like putting up a good, we can't do this. It wasn't like I was doing
one
that
at all.
Yeah. No, I wasn't pressure at all. It just was, if you're with someone who holds the same convictions, then you're just not in the resisting alone. And I also felt like if I tried to like put up a fight, then I just would look mad weird. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't have.
I remember we were making out for an insanely long time one time at your apartment. Insanely long time. And I remember you being like, okay. Like, it was kind of like this window, like, all right, you gonna make a move or what? Like,
oh, I don't know if you're reliving that correctly.
I don't want to tell this story the way I remember.
You can tell the story.
I remember us making out for a real long time.
Wait, I'm gonna say, just because it's the way you remember it, don't mean it's the truth. Let's be clear.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened.
Let's be clear.
We were kissing for a same long time. There will be lapses when we stop kissing, and there will be like these awkward moments in between where I'm just kind of like, at one point you get up, you go to the bathroom, and when you come back, you in panties.
They were not panties.
They were
shorts.
Boy shorts.
They were little shorts, but they were shorts.
If those were not draws, then they should have been draws.
They weren't.
They were, first of all, they were like
Victoria's Secret, just like little
they
shorts.
Make draws.
No, but they make shorts too.
This was not. No. Anyways, you left and came back and changed into something
more comfortable.
See, we got to tell the truth, shame the devil.
This is the
So what was the
more
intent?
comfortable.
You just were trying to get comfortable.
Yeah.
You did not change those with the intent to
seduce you. Is that what you're trying to say?
Use whatever word you want.
I'm trying to be a little Jezebel.
Use whatever word you want.
I'm trying to figure out what you trying to say.
Tell me what you went to change for.
I don't remember. That was so long ago.
But you remember. You remember this. You remember the details of your drawers.
I remember what I put on. I didn't just come out in my t-shirt and panties.
I
did not. I did not.
Hey, what they never told us, fam. I'll just say what I remember. Okay?
I did not.
I remember you coming on me being like, "Oh my god, it's happening." That's it. Folded. Fold. You know. Yeah. So. We just weren't in the same space. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay.
No, go ahead.
Nah, I feel like you painting this picture like
you being fast or something.
Yeah, like we just weren't in the same space. Like you weren't on that. You weren't on that. I'm preaching and I'm trying to not do.
I hope I'm not trying to make you sound bad.
Not sound bad, but you trying to make it seem like I was trying to get you to come over to the dark side, and that was not what it was.
I don't think that you were like working with demonic presence trying to bring me to the dark side. I think we were young,
yes,
horny kids, and we were in a lone apartment together, and I had convictions at the time that I don't think you had, is what I'm trying to articulate. I don't think you had, unless I'm wrong. Did you have convictions about like?
I didn't have any internal things telling me like, oh, we shouldn't do this. But I know you probably did and maybe didn't express that to me.
Absolutely not.
But yeah.
Let me be clear. Brandi was not fast. She was not being promiscuous. We had dated all through middle school and high school and rekindled in college. So it's not like this was a long time coming. Okay. So let me put that out there. I'm trying to clean it up.
No, I don't need you to clean it up. I was just,
I was worried that I made you sound like.
And you just made it seem like, oh, I had all these convictions and I was trying, and you went back and came out in panties, and it's like.
I'm just telling you what was happening internally. It wasn't. At no point did I say, I was like, Brandi, we can't do this.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm trying to live for the Lord.
Yeah, that's the part I would just like you to make clear.
For sure. I was not saying none of that, but I also wasn't. I was internally trying not to initiate anything. Like I was really comfortable making out, and when we would stop, then it felt awkward to me. Maybe not to you, but it felt awkward to me, and I was like, okay. And during those little awkward times, I'm having internal spiritual warfare. Like, you can't. You just got caught. Like you just accepted your calling to preach. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like this is the internal battle I'm having. So, yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember the point of telling the story now?
The point was, I don't even know what we was talking about. Wait, what was we talking about?
Yeah,
what was the point you asked me?
No, you were saying we were in two different. Oh
no, spaces. You asked me if you were the one that got away.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that because in my mind, with that being our last encounter, in my mind, I just resolved like, we've always, and I think you said this, articulate this in one way or the other. Like we've always been in different spaces, and in my mind, I really believed that in my heart. Like this just probably wasn't in the cards. I will say that when I would see you, it always felt very significant. Like whenever I saw you around town or something, I'd be like, yo, that's Brandi. And I don't know why it was so significant to me because no one like he's my only ex, but it always felt weighty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think that it was just like written in the stars? It's gonna happen. It was gonna happen.
All right, you relax. I don't know what to call it, but it didn't feel like you were the one that got away, but I always held you at like a very special place in my heart. Like that's my first love. That was the first girl I felt those feelings for. I have vivid memories of just me feeling things for the first time. Like the first time I had a visceral response. Like I remember the first time you told me you love me. I remember I was like,
I don't remember that.
Yo, first of all, like
you mean like as adults or as kids?
No, as kids.
Oh, no, I don't remember.
As kids, I remember.
He could say anything right now, and I'd have to go with it because
there's really not a lot of details to the story. I remember you telling me we were on the phone. It was past my curfew. I wasn't supposed to be on the phone, so I had that mug. Like I'm under the covers, like I gotta go. and it was like this long, because you know, like you kids, you ain't got
get off the phone.
Yeah, but also like, you know, you kids, so you don't got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of gaps of silence. But I remember you saying, "I love you," and I remember I'd heard people say butterflies before, never knew what it meant. My stomach started like shaking. I felt all of these things, and even my jaw started chattering. Like,
oh my goodness,
no, I'm dead serious. I remember having a visceral response to you telling me you love me. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that.
Really?
Yes.
It's crazy because, like, obviously, I don't know. We were probably, even though I don't remember specifically telling you that, but I'm going to say 8th or 9th grade, right? So in my mind's eye now, I'm like, well, I had no idea what that meant. I definitely knew that it felt different than being with any other boy. Like,
I think it was 9th grade.
Yeah, I figure it was like right around there.
Because that's why I felt so serious. I was, I'm in high school. I'm a man.
We're going to get married. She told me she loved me. That's it.
I said, oh, snap. This is real.
Yeah. I definitely remember like feeling pulled to you, feeling more than just like an attraction. I know we talk about the period like when we first met and how you were just like the epitome of uncool. Like you just weren't that at all. If I was truly over this time of my life, I would put a picture literally edited in here. I'm not gonna do that because I still got some trauma. I might post it on Instagram.
Nah, she ain't got no copy of that picture.
I know your phone code and I know it's in your phone.
You want? Let me check. Keep this mic on me. Nah, this y'all. If I could describe it, like the thickest glasses that always were broke, always had duct tape on the side, teeth crooked. Like my mama bought me new clothes, but I was content on wearing my cousin's hand-me-downs because I thought he was so cool. But his clothes were not. But I thought this dude was the coolest dude to wear. So she was like, "I just bought you new stuff." Like, no, I want to wear Trey stuff. So I would wear the. Yeah. Anyways, I was a nerd, like in every sense of the word.
Like, yeah, for real. But I still, like, you say I bullied you. I don't really think that I bullied you. I really feel like I just kind of
legitimately bullied me.
I just felt probably an attraction that I couldn't act on.
There was no attraction.
There's no way that, because I was always cool. If y'all don't know this, like, I was always cool. So
she was not attracted to me at all. She was mean, terrorized me.
It was like Rasputia and Norbit.
Sat behind
Except for I wasn't a big girl.
Oh my God. Yeah, I never forgot. My cousin Trey had this fake gold chain that I used to love, but he handed it.
I just leave the story.
He handed it down to me. It was old copper, and I remember I had this old
copper.
It was like it wasn't gold no more when I got it. It was like brown. You know what I'm saying? And I was gonna wear it though because it was Trey's, and I had this jean denim shirt buttoned up, and I remember I unbuttoned it a few down so they could see the copper chain. You know what I'm saying? And I remember it was 7th hour. We had 7 class periods. She slapped me on the back of the neck, and I looked back, man, like, stop. She was cracking up. Her and her friends were rolling. So I turned around again. Then she grabbed my collar and pulled my shirt, and the chain broke. I said, I remember going like, I hate her. Was so mad.
You know, like when kids are young, we pick on each other when we like each other. It's like
she did not like me, y'all.
You know, you go home and be like, she did this, and your mom be like, oh, she just like you.
Never said that. She never said that. There was these. Every time I thought I was fly, she would tell me I was. She would be the one to let me know I wasn't.
Your style was.
It was terrible. It was awful.
Horrible.
I was wearing Trey's clothes. You couldn't tell me nothing.
But I mean, like, you dressed like Beverly Hills 90210. No, well, not 902. What's the Beverly Hills Cop? Like, you dressed like Axel Foley.
Axel Foley?
It was very 80s. It was very 80s.
But I had this shirt, yo. It was
it was a Froot Loops shirt.
It was red and it had like tropical leaf print.
You still just like that.
My styling changed that much. I ain't gonna hold you. I got a shirt right now upstairs. It ain't far from that.
You still dress like
yeah,
that?
I do. But I just knew I was fly. I said, "Oh, I'm finna kill him tomorrow." Man,
flamed him all day.
Got to that class. She said, "Boy, what is you wearing?" I said, what? They're like, I like this. She was like, boy, that shirt look like you got that shirt from the back of a Froot Loops box or something like that. I was like, and I looked down and saw it. I was like, oh, dang, it do look like the Froot Loops box.
I really feel like my soul was attracted to you. I just didn't know how to act it out because you were like, yeah, don't date him. Like, there's no way you can be caught dead with that version of Russell Davis. So, you just had to grow up a little bit. As soon as you did your little transformation.
Definitely made me consider everything. Mom was like, you want context? Yes. These glasses gotta go.
Got your braces off.
I didn't have no braces at the time.
Your teeth were just jacked up.
They was just jacked up. I got braces.
You came back with braces. Yeah.
My mom was like, hey, Tracy, some more clothes. I don't want them. No more clothes from Trey. Let me see the new stuff you bought. Unpack it all. Man, I came down 8th grade. I said, I can't wait till the first day of school. I was brushing my hair and everything.
It didn't even happen the first day of school. It happened still in the summertime when everybody was going to find their classes.
Oh, the little walk through, find your class schedule.
Who is that?
They were like, Russell? I said, yeah. They was like, I thought they was teasing me because they laughed and walked away. I was like, oh, I hate that.
Little D Dog's plotting on you. I said, he gonna be my boyfriend.
The first day of school, I heard they said you was fine. I said, me? For real? Me? Could tell me nothing.
Yeah, grew up over the summer.
Steve and Stefan.
So does that I don't know why that show just made me like start reminiscing on those little moments. Like, yeah, we got a lot of history.
I think that's important in relationships.
Yeah.
I work in a middle school, and we were talking to this one girl who was having some issues with this boy, and I won't go into their business, but I remember it was serious enough that they were actually, middle school relationships usually don't pay no mind. Yeah. But what was going on with them was encroaching on some serious stuff. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about the weight of it. And she was like, the girl minimized, like, we're young. Like, it's just middle school. I said, I'm married to the girl I met here. Mm-hmm. I said, so let me tell you, like, I know it seems like you're young and all that. I said, but you're not going to wake up one day and just be a changed person. Mm-hmm. It takes work to grow. Mm-hmm. It takes work to mature. And your taste ain't going to be that different. I said, if you're not careful, the same thing you putting up with now, you'll look up, you'll be 20, still dealing with the same type of man, mm-hmm. same type of boy, mm-hmm. right? Like, so you have to really, even now, even though you're 13, even though you're 14, like, look at what you like, and ask yourself, why do I like that? Yeah. Like, he's cussing at me. Mm-hmm. Why am I okay with that? Mm-hmm. It's cool to think that you're going to wake up one day more mature and you're just not going to be. But the truth is, there's a lot of us who are seasoned, been through many cycles of life, been on this joint for a couple decades, mm-hmm. and we're still stuck in cycles of toxicity.
Absolutely. I think that for whatever reason, like, you were the anomaly of the guys that I dated back in high school, but I definitely had a type. Every time we broke up, I ran back to a certain type of man in my whole adult life of relationships up until we reconnected, where it's just me recycling the same dude in a different skin. And it was just because that's what I had become comfortable with. Like, those are the kind of guys my mom dated, kind of guys some of my aunts dated and my cousins dated. So it's like what you see is like what you end up living out until you get tired of that. And I think it's good that y'all are having those conversations with the kids now, because you're trying to save them from just cycles of toxicity that they don't have to be involved in. But I will say that having so many experiences with the wrong person did help me recognize, like, when the right person had walked in. I think that you've always been different from the men that I've dated. And even when we reconnected, you were dabbling in the life of a wayward man. But I think...
Wait, when?
When we reconnected as adults.
Oh, yeah.
A couple years ago, 5 years ago.
Dabbling.
Yeah. I mean, you was fully immersed.
I was, well, What do you mean? As a wayward man?
Yeah.
I was wayward. I was not living according to the word.
And I think you said this before, but it was almost like a role reversal. Like I was
for sure.
fully sanctified and set apart and living for the Lord.
I'm sitting here like, man, how am I going to get through a conversation with her without cussing? I'm sitting here trying to talk like, ugh.
But I think
be careful what you say, bro.
Both of our life experiences had like driven us to different sides. And I think that when we say we were always on two different sides of the spectrum, I don't think that your taste, I'm trying to speak for you, but your taste for women like me in your adult life, I don't think that you realize that like, yeah, she ain't it no more.
What?
Once you got older, it felt like to me that I'm trying to figure out a way to say this that doesn't make me feel like I'm talking down on myself, but yeah, I just felt like you were like, yeah, I can't date a woman like that.
In my adult life?
I mean, not now, when we were not 5 years ago, but in that period of time where we had like come back together, where we were just talking about
like 20.
Yeah, that you were like, yeah, I just can't date a woman like that. And I've always felt that. Like I've always had that. Not that you were too good for me, not like that, but you know, like the other sides of the track, you know, how it plays out in the movies. Like,
I see how you see it.
Good guy, bad girl, or whatever. Like it was, our lives just weren't compatible. And that was like something that I've always felt, even from when we were fully immersed in a relationship as kids. I always felt like you came from the wholesome family. And
hearing you talk about what you thought my home life was is the funny.
It's just perception.
Like, you thought I was growing up in the.
I thought you were like in the Huxtable household. Yeah, for sure.
Who were the
Winslows?
The Winslows. You thought I grew up in the Winslow household. Son, let me talk to you. The music starts in the background.
And that is definitely the perception. And I just didn't have that.
Yeah.
Like, whether it was the perfect family or not, it was completely different than how I was growing up.
Okay.
Like, completely different. And I just always felt like this, almost like inferior to like you and your family. That's crazy. I think that period of time in our 20s like solidified that for me, that brief little section, because not trying to tell
so
too
were
much
you
of your
perceptive
business.
of that?
Oh, 100%. Because I knew who your ex-girlfriend was. You know what I'm saying? Like I your ex-wife. So this is how
So you knew about her back then?
Yes.
How?
Yes. I see this. I don't know if it was MySpace but it was social media. I know I didn't have Facebook, so it had to have been MySpace.
That's why I was like, how did you even?
Yeah, I fully knew who she was, what
snooping?
She looked like. I mean, maybe. I don't remember. I don't recall. All I know is
we in our 20s. You definitely was snooping.
And no, I don't think I was talking to her at the time. So yeah, it was social media for sure that I knew about her. That I knew you were in a new relationship, and then you guys had taken a break or whatever, and that's when you had come back. So I felt like it was very much the same situation as the other girl in high school. Like it felt like this is what you're supposed to be with. You know, you're supposed to be with the clean cut, wholesome girl, and I'm like, who? I got a baby, like. It's just the opposite of what I felt like fit in with your life. So I think I dealt with that for a really long time, and I went to the opposite because that's just what felt comfortable. But I do think that my heart always longed for you. I think I wanted someone to make me feel like I felt with you. I had never, I mean, even as kids, like you think that, oh, that's just puppy love or whatever when you get older, but I never had anything that made me feel like that. And I do think that I chased that feeling and I never got it. So when we reconnected 5 years ago, it was more of like, okay, yep, not this time. I'm not going to let it pass.
And like you said, it was a role reversal. Because when I came back into your life, you know, I'm like, man, she posting scriptures. Like, and you were very intentional on making sure I knew that there had been a change.
Yes, because I felt like I had to show you that I was finally. This is gonna sound so weird, but I was worthy. Like
I felt like
saw you in such a way for so long that I was like, oh, my life finally lines up with the way that I've seen you.
And then you come sit by me and I'm like, God, what happened to Russell?
No, it wasn't that though. I was on you.
Russell, what happened to Russell? Like,
I was like, okay, so
God?
When the last time you been to church? Why you running? Like, what's going on? Like, I was speaking to who I knew you to be, what I saw in front of me, like whether that was who you had evolved into, who you were trying to make yourself pretend that you were. Like, I knew who you were. I had known you for 20 years, like, and I've never seen this version of you.
That's just what hurt do.
So I was like, nah, that I'm not even dealing with this. God will deal with this, but I'm speaking to who I know you to be.
That is, to me, one of the most dangerous parts about pain. Dangerous and also weirdly a blessing, depending on how it lands with you. But pain produces pivots. It produces change, which is why God utilizes it so much. He will orchestrate you to go through some stuff because he knows that through it is going to produce something in you. Mm-hmm. And as much as the Lord uses it, so does Satan. Mm-hmm. For us, which is crazy. Look at us. Lived our lives a whole way. You know, you were the girl who's like, if I want to drink, I'm gonna have a drink. If I don't want to drink, I'm not gonna drink. If I want to cuss, I'm gonna cuss. Like, you didn't live your life by a book. Mm-mm. You didn't live your life by conviction. You just led life by like, okay, what do I feel is best for me in the moment? What makes me happy?
Well,
well, what you thought would make you happy, right?
Well, just my whole life is a trauma response.
I feel you. And I think let me say all humans really do that. You know, it's just, you know, the whole Christian mindset is like, okay, reprogramming yourself to not be driven by whatever your flesh desires. Yes. So I kept wrestling with this internal conviction of just like, okay, I'm drawn to do this, but I know I shouldn't. Mm-hmm. I'm drawn to do this, but I know I can't. Right? I probably was the only kid in high school worried about going to hell. Like, for sure. Like, I'm a horny 16-year-old. Mm-hmm. Like, I would love to pounce on this girl that's like, you know, kissing on my neck in the back of the bus. Or
not at 16. I swear, you talking about me?
No.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, because I wasn't kissing on nobody's neck at 16.
No, we was in 8th grade. We were 14. We were on our way back from we was on our way for the Luck Dust game. That was the first time I touched a woman. You remember that?
No.
You don't remember touching on each other on the way back from the Luck Nuts game?
What does touching on each other mean?
I have touched your breast.
Just be you cannot just be throwing words out like they was on the bus touching on each other. What?
You don't remember on the way back from the game when you had touched
what, Russell?
You touched my little and I felt your little chest. You remember your little You remember that? I remember that. That was the first time.
You trying to say I touched your penis on a bus?
Yes, you did. Say you did. Say you did. Right now, I want you to look into this camera right now and lie to these people. Say you didn't do that. And act like you don't remember.
I don't remember.
You are lying. You will say you swear. Say you swear. Because we done talked about it too many times. Say you swear.
I don't know where this is going. Mama, I didn't do that.
Hey, she lying to all of y'all and her mama on Mother's Day.
I did not do that. That is a lie.
We was in the 8th grade. We was kissing on each other.
That wasn't me.
She kissed my neck. I was like, ooh.
What?
I had never had a girl kiss my neck before, y'all.
Russell, I've never kissed your neck.
Baby, are you serious? Stop lying. You gonna make these people think I'm capping. You don't remember that. Say you don't remember.
I was kissing your neck.
Where
was the supervision?
Hey, low key though, can we talk about this? Where was it? And my kids will never go on no long trip because I'm just now thinking like, where were the adults? Because that happened. Can you stop acting like I'm crazy? Do you not remember this?
I plead the fifth.
Okay, there we go. That tells you everything you need to know.
On the grounds that I may incriminate myself.
You done made me forget everything I was talking about. What was I even talking about? Why did I even bring that up?
I don't know where you was going with that one. Because that's crazy. That's insane.
All I was saying was like I've always wrestled with like an internal conviction of like, man, like I'm drawn to these things. Like this is what my body desires, but at the same time, like there's these like this conviction I have, right? Like I got saved in the 3rd grade, and a lot of people say when they got saved at a young age, it wasn't authentic, but I never felt like that. I never felt the need to get baptized again because it was a real experience for me, and I can honestly say, growing up, everything I did wrong outside of like what I knew were the expectations of God, it came with a weight. Like I would feel terrible. Like I would repent and say, God, forgive me, and I'm sorry. I'm in the 5th grade trying to repent for lying to my mama about my report card and hiding it. Like, you know, I had conviction. So when I hope I didn't, you never felt inferior to me. Ever felt inferior to me. And I never saw you like that. I never saw you like that. Like this girl is bad for me, or I'm the church boy and I'm dealing with this girl who's gonna.
It was like Romeo and Juliet or something.
It never felt like that to me.
Not
till
like
that.
What was Rashad and Nunu? You was Nunu though.
It didn't feel like that to me until we had freedom. Like I was always protected by, you know what I'm saying, when I was at your house, your mama was right there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's shocking to me, your mom even let me come over like that.
Well, my mom loved you from the moment she met you. So
she got a good eye. Mama know. Mama know.
Like, she's like, yeah, I know you got that little, but where's Russell? I'm like, that's over, okay?
Like, Mom, I'm 30.
I've moved on.
I'm married.
Got 2 kids. Like, you gotta let it go.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Even that part of the story is crazy because, like, we joke about it, and I know you don't want to give your mama no credit for this, but when I say the Lord, honestly, I truly believe that the Lord had tucked something in her heart concerning me and you, like, for whatever it's worth. There was never a time that I ran into her. She always brought you up. Regardless of what was going on, regardless of who I was with, if I saw your mama, she would be like, you know, you always gonna be my son-in-law. Regardless of what's going on, she would say, you're my son-in-law. She would always speak that over me.
Yeah. I think that also made me like run to the opposite as I was dating, because now it wasn't just, she didn't just tell you that.
Rebellious spirit
like
on you.
Yeah, I definitely got a rebellious spirit. But you know, like, first of all, your mama can't pick your man. Like, that's just insane. Like, nah. Like, so she would be like, well, what about Russell? I'd be like, he's married. Like, I don't know what you want me to do with that. Like, I cannot date
married.
Russell. Like,
I'm married.
No, I wasn't married at the time because you got married before me.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, what about him? Like, what do you want me to do?
What do you want me to do?
And I really did feel like you had married in what was in my eyes the perfect person for you. Like, she checked the boxes that felt like this is who he's supposed to be with.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, like, in my mind, I truly felt like that too.
Yeah.
Almost a lot of the girls I dated in that time, there were always this like check boxes that we always have, and it's so dangerous. And this is why you have to be really careful with like preference. Sometimes you can have in your mind so strong of what you think is the type of person that you limit God's ability to orchestrate and bring people into your life. Like, you know, when you old school church and you preach, you got to be someone who can sing. Like, if you because, you know, especially in the Baptist denomination, before you go up to preach, your wife come up and do an A selection. So, like, gotta be someone who can sing. Okay, oh, she said, okay, you gotta be with a nice, good church girl, you know, like all of these things. And it's like, what's the criteria? Yeah. Like, are you connected? Are you growing yoked spiritually? Like, yeah, you're both Christians, but do you have the same convictions? Those are two different things. Equally yoked don't mean y'all both Christian.
Absolutely.
Equally yoked means that you spiritually on the same level. And those are two separate things. Y'all both can go to the same church, have the same pastor, profess the same Jesus and not be equally yoked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is your worship language the same? Are you gonna be bothered every time she get excited to start speaking in tongues? Are you gonna be like,
Oh, here she go again.
here she go again? It don't take all of that. Like I want to pray with you, but can we do it with all? I'm trying to pray. You sitting here, yes, God,
I
yes,
feel like
Jesus.
you're coming for me.
No. Hey, look, we cut up together. I don't know what you're talking about. We was crying all in church and nigga.
So I definitely go fully in.
But see, like, I love, and one of the things I loved about our like premarital counseling, like we talked about that. Like, how do you express God? How do you experience God? Is it in nature where you feel more close to God? Is it through music? Is it through, we talked about all of that.
Yeah.
Because all of that is important. But I'm getting off subject. I said all that to say, like, you never felt inferior to me. But I was just aware of, like, man, this thing I'm trying to walk out present day. At the time, I was like, I can't see myself being able to do it with you. It's just too much temptation. Like, I can't be trying to avoid having sex and she in these Victoria's Secret shorts. I'm doing quotes if you listen to the audio. Shorts.
They were shorts.
Oh, there was some shorts. Hey, burned in
There
my.
was no
I'll
booty
never
cheek
forget
out or
them. They was
nothing.
gold, sequins,
There
shimmery.
was no booty cheek out, and it says nobody wearing sequin panties. See,
They
they
were-
were shorts.
They were gold though, right? They were. All I know is that when you came out in them, because the lights was out. The lights was out, and we was watching a movie.
They might have had like a little trim or something. They wasn't all
The
like,
way the light was dancing off the.
I think the pink was in.
The way the light hit the ice, and twinkle and glisten.
You're
What?
powerful.
I said, "Woo, Jesus! I can't get out of here."
You know he's
You
just so
said
that
you
I
never
had no
put
shape
more
or
meat in
nothing.
what you I can bear. I can't bear.
You didn't say that.
This was in my head, in my heart. I was warring. I said, I ain't gonna make it out of here. She looked at me and said, close the blinds. Yes, ma'am. Close the blinds so
I feel
fast.
like I'm some type of dominatrix.
Woo!
You
Dominate me.
You gonna tell them the rest of the story?
Nope. 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 And so that's what I mean about,
No. I won't embarrass you, but I feel like I don't know where forever is going.
So look, y'all,
Go
she
ahead.
come out in these shorts.
Oh, you going there?
She come out in these shorts, right? I fully gave in. I said, yo, this about to happen. She said, close the blinds. I close the blinds.
How do we end up on the floor?
You.
No.
You was, hey, calling shots. You hear me? She's like, she
It's
just
so
took
much.
shots. She said, close the blinds. I said, I took a hard swallow. Close the blinds. She said, cut on the air conditioner. There was a little.
What?
She tell me I'm lying. So in the apartment, did you not have an air conditioner that was like up on the wall? It was like a unit.
It was. I think it was on the baseboard.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah. She told me cut on the air conditioner. I cut on the air conditioner.
it's about to get hot.
She got on the floor in the living room. I was like, she was like, come here. I was like,
I got on the floor in the living room.
yes,
Myself.
you did. In them shorts, them Vicky's Secret shorts. Y'all, I want to say, I kid you not. Now, look at here. At this point in my life, I have never had such a steamrolling of like, this is the most sexy thing that's ever happened to me in my life up
my
until this point.
goodness.
Present day, the most, like, at the time, this was the most sex. It was like a movie. I was like, oh, my heart is beating so fast. I go over there. We just attempt to start sex.
And you finished.
And I finished before it began. I said, oh, God. I was so embarrassed. She got up.
I don't know if we said this, but this is the first time this has ever occurred for us.
We have never.
We never attempted to have sex. Our 5-year relationship in school, it wasn't a part of our relationship.
So when I tell you that this is the actualization of every teenage fantasy I've ever had, like, this has been my girlfriend for like all of my childhood. I can't tell you how long it's been me in this fantasy of being with her. So it's here in front of me, and she's like mad, like she knows what she doing. She's telling me what to do. I'm like, ooh. Like, yo, It was over before it began. And I kid you not. So it happens, right? Like before it even starts, I approach. I'm like approaching her. We about to do whatever, and then like it's over. It's over. I'm mortified. You hear me? Absolutely mortified. She gets up, goes in the bathroom, right? Like I'm like, oh my God. She's probably in there texting her friends like, girl, I can't believe. I said, I gotta salvage this. I gotta find a way to make this up. Like I gotta go explain myself, right?
So you just bust in
anxiousness out of anxiousness, right? Like I don't even think to knock. This is how panicked I am. I'm like, let me just go in here and holler at her. Busted in the bathroom. She's like, excuse me. I was like, y'all, if I could have, without looking insane, I would have just left the apartment. She would have come out the bathroom. I would have been gone. I would have just like got in my car and said, well, Lord, I'm coming back to you. And I've learned the error of my ways. I've seen what it's like out here in the world, and I don't like it. Like, I legitimately was, before she came out the bathroom, I was thinking to myself,
just leave.
Just go, bro. Save whatever dignity you got. You'll never see her again. Just go. You'll never be able to look at this girl in the face again. Go. And I didn't. I stayed.
I came out, you're sitting on the couch like a little puppy.
Twiddling my thumbs like, so? Sorry. That was weird. Swear that's never happened before. You know, all the things like you would just say in that moment, like, yo, they ain't never, yo, I can't believe that. Like, that's crazy.
You said it had been a long time.
It had. It had.
And I felt like I was completely understanding. I didn't hold it against you, but in my mind, it was definitely like, this is not going to work.
Yeah. I literally can't tell that story without being transported back there emotionally. Like I feel everything that I felt. Like I'm low key embarrassed right now.
You've more than made up for yourself.
Yo, facts. And let me tell you something. Like when we got back together, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm finna show her. I ain't no boy no more. I'm a man.
Okay, sir.
Look here. In my mind, I was like, I got something to prove. Let me ask you this, okay? When we reconnected, how much of you was worried about that? Based on that one experience we had, were you like, yo, this...
I think I said this on the podcast before. I think we talked about this in one of our sex episodes, but I was not worried about that. I really... Not the aspect of, is it going to be trash? Like... That was not a worry of mine. I told you before. I was like worried if our anatomy would work together. That's what worried me.
Okay,
like are we a good fit for one another without being too graphic? I was like, man, I don't know, because I believe that was part of the struggle before. It's just like, okay, like how do we make this work?
I genuinely think God was like, yeah, no,
probably. Like
God literally was like,
I
got plans for y'all, and this y'all are literally about to ruin what I got in store. Like, guys, you not even gonna have time to pull out. You're just gonna, she's gonna be pregnant.
You're gonna put it, just let it go.
You about to get pregnant off the most lackluster experience of your life.
That would have been terrible.
It would have legitimately been terrible. So even though I'm mortified about it, I look back on that moment and be like, okay, that was God's grace in spite of our foolishness.
Yeah, so it did that part didn't worry me at all. And I think that more than that, like, you talk a good game. So I was like, okay, like he's not the same person. Like I could tell that you were more experienced, more mature. So it was like, okay, we're at least on equal footing now. Because like how you were testing the waters and sowing your wild oats, like I wasn't. So I think that we had finally caught up to one another. Like, okay, like I was a little bit more experienced. I had a kid by that time. Yeah. But now so had you, right? You had been in a whole marriage. So I didn't know all the things that had happened in the marriage, but you know, at least in my mind, I was like, okay, we're good there. We're gonna be all right. And
I wonder what our life would have been like if we if we lived our lives completely according to how God designed it, what it would look like now.
Probably be amazing. We'd probably be like LeBron and Savannah or something.
Of sex, or you just mean
what?
Of life? Like I'd be a professional basketball player. Like what do you say? What do you say? What does that analogy mean? Like, are you saying like I'd be like
you know how they were like high school sweethearts and they came out the mud with each other. Now they're rich and
I don't think
have a complete family. And I'm just saying like that. We probably would have been like that.
Oh, okay.
Not you would have been a professional basketball player because that definitely
like
was not
what does
cards.
that analogy mean? Like
that was definitely
like did they abstain? Were they like pure?
No, I'm just talking about them starting from the bottom, getting out the mud together, and now they living a life. At least from what we could see.
I already feel like we're on that level.
I mean, I
Maybe
feel like we
not bank
delayed.
account.
I'm about to say we delayed it a little bit. We playing catch up right now.
I ain't talking about bank account, but in general, just like I was
gonna say I think that our love story is exactly how it was supposed to be.
100%.
We talk about a lot. Like if we were just. If it would have happened when we were kids and we would have got married, we probably would be the divorced people right now instead of
100%
the people who got together after divorce.
I definitely think that just based on our context that we came from individually, I think there was a lot that we needed to walk through before we got in relationship with each other.
100%. There was some things personally that needed to come up off of me because I'd have completely destroyed you. I would have eaten you alive.
What?
I would have destroyed you.
Yes.
I would have killed your spirit for sure.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad you're not killing my spirit.
Yeah, I mean, I was a toxic person in relationships, so that had to be burned up off of me.
Yeah, I remember a couple things.
Sorry, I'm better now. High five. It was God worked it out for us.
Yes, he did.
Exactly how he was supposed to. And we don't need a baby to complete our family. Our family
You had to bring it back to that?
Our family is complete.
Do you think there's any leftover toxicity?
In me?
Yeah.
100%. Sure. Everybody has a little bit of toxic in them.
What's toxic about you now?
I don't like to listen. I still like to get my way.
So is toxic just anything that you need to work on?
I think it's toxic when it can affect our relationship. Okay. And the difference is now like I have a red, not a red flag, but I have like a little trigger that goes off in my head. Like I have the Holy Spirit that'd be like, you tripping. Walk that back. Go apologize. Or it'd be like, don't say that. Because that's not gonna land well.
All right.
There are a lot of times where I could say things that are just hurtful to be hurtful. And I 100% that the Holy Spirit stills my tongue.
That's dope.
And be like, don't say that.
It's the ultimate hack, yo.
It really is.
I promise you it is.
When I say lead and guide, that's what I mean.
Yeah, people talking about like your conscience, your moral compass, all of that pales in comparison
to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, like
for sure.
Unexplainable stuff that make you just be like, don't get in that car. Don't say that. Mm-hmm. Like those little nudges that you can't even really explain. Mm-hmm. Like we have tons of stories where it's just be like, man, that was nothing but God. You look 100%. Back and be like, there's no other way to explain it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The ultimate.
I think it's our whole story.
Facts.
I think it's our whole entire story. Like it was nothing but God. Like everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. And if it would have happened any other way, I don't think it would be what it is.
Facts. Truly thankful for you. And I feel like really blessed that we are able to like have this. It's crazy. Like I think sometimes you can just get caught up in like your now and get used to somebody. And I'm fully aware that there's moments where I'm just like, oh, that's my wife, that's Brandi. But when I think back to this whole other life we had in a different period of time, to like think back to like, man, God, like you really did your big one. And everything we went through, like prepared us for one another. Even the stuff like I was like, really, God, why is this happening? I look back and it all makes sense. Like, oh, I see why I had to go through that. Mm-hmm. I see why I couldn't work out then. I see why, I had to learn that. Yeah. It makes all of it make sense. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful, and I'll always say it. I say it a lot, and I'll keep saying it, that like you're just a constant reminder of just God's mercy, His grace. It's like He didn't have to do this, but He did. He was so intentional, and He let us experience each other in our young age. Like He could have just linked this up when we was those.
I'm gonna get a little taste.
A little taste.
Just get a little taste.
Man, all them little feelings, and it's also crazy to me like those things were real.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me ask you this: was there ever a point where you look back on that chapter and were like, I mean, you know, that's just puppy love?
When I was with other people, for sure.
In my mind, I'd be like, you know, that's just puppy love. But I would always reference that.
I would say that was my barometer. That was like my, does it feel like this?
I kid you not. Literally. I'm talking, I'll be honest. We've already talked about it. In my past marriage, I'm like, don't you know what it feels like? Like that's what we supposed to, like the butterflies, like your stomach was literally talking about the stuff that I experienced like as a child.
That's why when you told her who it was, she was like, your ex. You had that makes sense.
I will literally explain, like that is the marker for like this is what 100%. It's supposed to feel like. I felt love. You know what I'm saying? And then at some point, 16. And then at some point, I'm just like, okay, maybe I was just tripping. Maybe it's just like little kid stuff.
And everybody, at least around me, when we were dating, was saying, you don't really love him. You think you love him. Like my mom, for sure. Like she was just teasing us about it. Yesterday, like, yeah, y'all used to be on the phone talking about I love you. And did.
What you got to say now? Look. But I ain't gonna lie, I say the same thing. I was literally would come up to me. I was like, I love him. You don't even know what love is, girl.
I mean, at the time, you don't. I mean, as an adult, I can see how you would be like, y'all don't know what
the depth of what true love is. I'm sure we're just scratching the surface.
Absolutely.
But just on like a romantic, authentic love for somebody, man, we had that.
For sure.
All the feels.
For sure. I don't know if we were asking somebody about if you could go back to high school and do it all over again, would you? And it was me and my friend. Sorry, you weren't there. And I was like, yeah, I would go back just to date you again.
That'd be so lit. Man, you would be pregnant.
Okay, well, no, I wouldn't, because
if we both knew, like if we both went back,
no.
I'm like, we gonna get married anyway.
No.
I'll be like, babe, look at my don't you want to take this for a spin?
It's my 60-year-old body.
Look at this. I got energy. Like, we could do some things with this.
I just remember, like, not that it doesn't feel like this now, but now it's weighty. Now it's like, we love each other and we have a life together, and it's like God is in the midst. We see you moving. Like, it's really weighty now.
Yeah, for real.
But back then it was just like, man, I just love him, and that's all that mattered.
It's all
nothing else mattered.
Yeah, this is weighty. Like we've got time under our belt, and we've invested actual equity into this,
and we've walked through divorce, so it's like we're managing that. Like, we can't go back to that. We can never get divorced.
I am not living in fear of divorce.
I'm not living in fear of it, but I am aware of it.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to go through that.
Definitely aware of it.
I honestly, in my mind, at least for me, and I feel like this for you too. At least I hope you feel like this. Like, I can't even imagine doing something that would make that be the case.
Yeah, I don't ever think that people intentionally do things. Well, I mean, maybe they do, but I think that life just happens to people, and I don't foresee like the cheating, the abuse, the things like that.
That's the stuff my mind goes to.
Yeah.
Like when I think of the things that start that, of course, there's
people
things
just grow apart.
For sure. I think, I have a resolve about me that, like, I really pray I can find again. Like, I remember my first marriage just wasn't an option. It just was not an option, which is why, like, well past,
you can't say it wasn't an option because you got divorced.
At one point, it wasn't an option.
Okay.
even at my lowest, like I'm legitimately unhappy, but it was like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? It was talking about years before I worked up the nerve to even go through with it, and even then, even when this is how deep that thought process was. Cause even when I separated, I could not bring myself to act like it was just such a weighty thing. But that resolved. Like, I do think that now that I've walked through divorce and I survived it, in my mind, once in my mind was like, okay, that's not an option. Now it's like, oh, that's an option. And I don't want that.
It can happen to anybody.
I don't want it. I legitimately don't ever want to go through that.
That's what I mean by just managing the weight of it. Like, it's, even though I never want it to happen, I don't live life in fear of it. In the back of my mind, I'm aware that things fall apart.
For sure.
Like, I think I was of the same understanding, and even probably more so than you, because I never changed. Until the day that the certificate came in the mail, I did not want to get divorced.
Do you think that you in your mind, never considering the reality of it, can breed naivety? Is that a word? Naivete?
I don't know what you're asking me.
Do you think, like, when you live life like, man, I would never get divorced. Do you think that can make you kind of naive to the possibility or the reality that this is a reality that people walk through? Like, basically what you're saying is, because you've walked through it, you tend to relational things a little bit more intentionally, because you're like, yo, I know what on the other side of that.
Absolutely.
Me not knowing what's on the other side of that, like, it leaves room for you to just be like, whatever. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to address it. I'm not going to have that conversation.
For sure. I think it makes it easier to brush things under the rug when you are under the guise that divorce is not an option. It's just like, oh, well, it'll work itself out. It'll resolve. We'll fix it, one day. Until there is no more one day. And then it's like, man, we should have talked about it. We should have addressed it. We should have changed. We should have fixed it. And it's all in hindsight. And now I just have the wherewithal to be like, hey, I feel this. We need to talk about this. I don't like it when you do that, because I know if we leave it unattended, I know where it can end up. Yeah. And so that's what I just mean. I'm just aware.
For sure.
I'm aware.
For sure. We locked in now, shorty.
Stuck.
Oh, don't say that.
Poor you. I'm talking about you.
Oh, I can't be stuck.
I ain't no quitter.
I can't be stuck somewhere I want to be. Man, who's stuck?
I ain't no quitter. You see me, I finish a meal just because I don't want to give up on it. Big and full. All right. I can't leave it here.
You got it. You in. You win. Nah, but I think some takeaways just for, like, anyone who's listening. Like, I think I enjoyed this episode. I think it was really fun. But I think one of the takeaways is number one, your experiences all serve a purpose. I know sometimes we'll leave a situation and be like, that was a waste of my time. I wasted X amount of years. But number one, you don't know what God has in store.
God doesn't waste moments.
Yeah. And I'm so sure that, like, time reveals so much. You look back and be like, okay, God, I see why I had to walk through that. I see why I had to go through that.
And if you're a believer, like, you have to know that God is an intentional God. Yeah. And if you're a believer, you have to know that. But even if you're a non-believer, when you come, because I believe that everyone shall, what they say, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to come into the wisdom and knowledge of who God is. And when you do, everything starts to make sense. Like, even the lowest parts of, like, I just can't figure out why I had to walk through this. Now, in hindsight, I can look back and be like, okay, so that played a part in that. And even not even relationally, but like just in my life, the things that I had to walk through as a kid that I felt like I didn't understand. I'm like, God, you were so intentional. Because when I talked to that other little girl, when I talked to this other woman, like, I can speak to what I know, not what I think, but what I know and how I've seen you move. I know that God is intentional. It shows up in our relationship, but it just shows up in my life.
Absolutely. 100%. So, Relationships are just better when he's involved.
Absolutely.
And that's a process in and of itself. But big takeaways. The fruit of our relationship is a direct correlation with God's involvement in our story. Even when we didn't even know he was involved in the details. Even when we was fornicating in the apartment. All of it was.
Well, it wasn't really fornication. It wasn't. It was attempted fornication.
Well, he blocked it.
It wasn't fornicating. We didn't fornicate.
I'm saying even when we look back on those moments, we saw God. Well, I did.
Yeah.
Hey, I definitely.
You was like, who was that? Noah, you spilled your seed on the ground. It didn't. I don't know where it went. It didn't.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Another great episode. I can't believe we told that story. Do you remember us? We've literally just if you really what they never told us, OG, we have been dancing around that story of us reconnecting for years, and I have never told that story. I always
not in this detail. Not in this detail.
There was one time we kind of talked up about that, like. Never mind. Hey, look, y'all fan for real. We y'all fan for real. Oh Lord, please don't clip that.
Irregularly. You see this man talk about how he? No, just
Wow.
It was all worth it. I
Absolutely.
didn't feel the embarrassment that you felt, but
all I'm saying is I look back and I see his hand in the details, even when we weren't intentionally inviting him in. Mm-hmm. We weren't like, oh God, we want you to be a part of this because we know that with you is good. Nah, we just look back and see that you had a plan even when we didn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. God is dope.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm finna go upstairs and chill and lick my wounds and my pride.
Oh, whatever. Please catch us live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. We are so excited to talk and advance this conversation and just really share the good news about what Jesus did through us.
Absolutely. Also, for those of you guys who have made it to this point of the episode, that means you are like truly locked in. You are What They Never Told Us family. And our next episode is specifically for you. You know that every year we do the Ask R&B segment. This one's a little different. For people who would like to, we're inviting you on to actually speak to us. We're going to be taking live calls to speak on whatever topic you would like to. If you don't want to do a live call, you can do like we always do in the Ask R&B segment, and you can just submit a question or a topic to us for us to discuss on next week's episode. You can hit us up on any DM on any social media, or you can hit us up on our email, which is what they never told us pod at gmail.com. And all of our social media is at What They Never Told Us pod.
That's right. So we are super excited for the Ask R&B episode. So submit all your questions, comments, concerns, relationship advice, needs. We are here for you. And then catch us live on Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. My voice is going out. And always remember that we love love.
And y'all should love too.
Peace.
Peace.